Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to the rules this evening, but at this particular point in time, I wanted to speak with regard to the specific sexual harassment proposal. I strongly object to having it included in this resolution, preparing our rules. Sexual harassment is a complicated issue in a traditional workplace, where there are clear structures and definitions. In a workplace like the General Assembly, where we as elected officials are not considered by definition in statute as employees, things are even more complicated. This rule that we're about to adopt fails to add any clarity. In fact, I feel it makes it all the more unclear, and that there are many questions that remain. And I'll go through some of them now. Does this cover all forms of discrimination laid out in Title VII, as is referred to in the resolution? Or is it just sexual harassment? So if there's a claim of racial discrimination or age discrimination, are those covered or not under this particular proposal? Again, it's incredibly vague. Who hires the investigator? What qualifications should they possess? What is a reasonable timeline? It refers to a timeline in there, but there are no definitions. Can any resolution to offer an alleged victim relief be granted other than after a full and complete investigation, as the resolution states now? So if someone needs immediate relief because they're being harassed, is there a way for someone to step in and say, intervene in a way so that those two don't have to interact? Is there an appeal process? How is the position nestled inside our Joint Committee on Legislative Services going to be insulated from undue influence of the committee's members? The proposal before us this evening goes against recommendations by leading organizations in the nation on how legislative bodies should govern themselves when it comes to harassment and discrimination. In fact, the National Women's Law Center, one of the leaders, provided 4 points in opposition to this resolution that we're voting on tonight, saying that it was not in alignment with best practices. And while one of the changes were adopted, the gag rule, the most important one, having the investigative body be independent and impartial, what some would say is in fact the most important piece of any proposal, the baseline for credibility for the entire process, one might say, was not taken. That recommendation was not taken. We had our speaker quoted in the news, a couple different sources saying that there was going to be an independent law firm that would be handling these investigations. And when I called the chairman to ask if that was in fact something that was going to happen, I was told no. I was told that this is what we were voting on today. If a victim does not trust that a fair hearing is going to happen, if someone who is suffering from harassment does not trust the system, they will continue to suffer in silence. They will not report. They will continue to be abused, and the abuser will continue to be protected by a system that we create here tonight, I cannot be a party to that process. We need accountability. At the very minimum, we need an outside firm who would be subject to oversight by the Bar Association, where there would be genuine consequences for them failing to do their job. There would be a penalty, perhaps, of disbarment, or maybe even a malpractice suit against them. And an assurance of impartiality by the chair of JCSL does not offer the same guarantee. It simply doesn't. Well over 100 bills across the country have been introduced to update existing sexual harassment laws. And to my knowledge, none of them have credibly been enacted where the head of one chamber would hire and fire an investigator with power over the other chamber and all the members of the legislature. Keeping the investigation under the control of JCSL would do just that. And I cannot express in any clearer terms that this sexual harassment piece has no place under these rules. And, Mr. Speaker?
30 seconds.
Under Rule 28, I would like to request that this particular section be divided out and that we vote on it in separate sections. So eliminating Rule 46 or separating out Rule 46 in its entirety.
It's divisible. We can do that.
Thank you. I would urge my colleagues, when the time comes and this section is divided out, to vote it down. Thank you.